The country will sit for the social studies paper on Monday, August 25, as the 2025 WASSCE continues. Over the years, concerns about exam leakages, malpractice and logistical challenges have dominated public discussion. But WAEC says new measures are being put in place to safeguard the integrity of this year's exams. We're joined via Zoom by the Public Relations Officer for WAEC, Mr. John Kapi. Grateful to you, Mr. Kapi, for joining us here on the ChannelOne newsroom. What is WAEC's assessment of the practical session of the exam that's just ended?
Good evening and thanks for having me. By our assessment, we think that we have been able to acquit ourselves creditably because all the practical sessions have gone on very well. We have not received any reports from any quarters about any candidates who were unable to take the exam as a result of a shortage of question papers or absence of logistics.
Okay. Now, the major written session, begins on Monday. How prepared is WAEC for that social studies paper on Monday?
WAEC is absolutely prepared. We usually have our pre-examination activities in terms of printing, packaging, and dispatching of question papers to all the examination centers, examination depots. As we speak, all the examination depots have received their questions. We have personnel who are in the field, and so everything is set for the examinations on Monday.
Well, Mr. Kapi, leakages and malpractice has in the past overshadowed your examinations, especially the WASSCE exam. For this very one, you say there are new safeguards. What are these safeguards that you are introducing?
Well, maybe let me correct a certain misconception. First of all, when we talk about leakages, we are talking about situations where question papers are out there maybe 12 or 24 hours before the commencement of the examination.
Okay.
But what we've observed in the past few years has been the fact that when the examinations begin, people take snapshots and then post them on social media platforms. These are things that we are looking to ensure that they become a thing of the past. But then when we talk about examination malpractices, yes, these are happenings that we are not happy about. We have held stakeholder engagements across the country. We've invited major stakeholders who are involved in education and spoken to them about the menace of this examination malpractice and the fact that there's a need for us to put an end to it. Now, besides the stakeholder engagements that we've held, we've also held sensitization sessions with examination candidates across the country, just to ensure that everybody knows what they can do and what they cannot do under examination conditions. Okay. Now, in the course of the conduct of the examination itself, we are deploying a number of our staff to monitor all the examination centers across the country, just to ensure that sanity prevails. We also have personnel that we've trained specially for monitoring who have also been dispatched. The Ghana Education Service, thankfully, is assisting us to monitor the examination centers. Then we have also the NIB. They have also been very, very helpful. They're also going to go out there, and whatever they observe, they'll draw our attention to it. So basically, we've tried our best to ensure that we bring people up to speed on the menace of this canker of examination malpractice and the need for us to work together concertatively to ensure that we are able to, nip it in the bud.
Well, you mentioned the use of mobile phones to take snapshots of these exam question papers. The Education Minister recently proposed a review of the use of mobile phones by invigilators. What is WAEC's position on this?
Our position about mobile phones has not changed. Supervisors, invigilators are not allowed to use mobile phones in any examination hall or around the examination center. So at the center, for example, once you arrive there as an invigilator, there's a place where the phones are supposed to be kept, and you can only access them after the examination. These are rules that we have been using. Some people have not observed them, that is true, but then we have strictly told the supervisors to ensure that they adhere to this rule, just so that people don't get the opportunity of taking snapshots. Thankfully, the Ghana Education Service has come up to assist us. They have indicated that any teacher who is found culpable will be held responsible, will be dealt with severely. And so it's our hope and our belief that anybody associated with the examination would desist from carrying on them any mobile phone with which they may want to take snapshots and then post them on social media.
All right, Mr. Kapi, we know that in our country, some areas are very hard to reach. Are there any contingency plans to ensure that exam materials and personnel arrive on time?
Yes, we have. Usually we'll try to do our dispatch no less than 3 days to the day of the examination, just so that we are sure that we are within time for the examinations to commence. As we speak, we have not received any indications of any of our roads being unmotorable, or that maybe as a result of floods or heavy rains, our vehicles are unable to go anywhere. But then our branch controllers, those who represent us in the regions, are on standby, and they are on alert as and when there's a need for us to look at alternative ways of reaching some of the difficult to reach areas. We are prepared to apply other ways of reaching those areas so that the candidates will also have the opportunity of writing their examination.
Okay, I mean, we know that in the past, I mean, WAEC has had issues with government's indebtedness. Are you saying to us today that you are financially prepared to undertake this exam smoothly?
Yeah, when it comes to our job, we do the job in stages. We have had a moderating meetings. Thankfully, all the personnel who came to assist have been paid. We also have the printing process, all the logistics that are needed, all the raw materials in there for printing were provided, and so we're able to print. We've been able to dispatch our staff also to go and ensure that they are able to, conduct the examinations as expected. So for now, I would say that government has made provision for us to be able to go through all the stages of the examination. As we speak, I think about 2 weeks ago, we promised that we're going to pay the remainder of the amount meant for the conduct of the WASSCE.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I've not cross-checked with the Director of Finance, but for now, yes, we have money to be able to conduct the examination without any hitches.
Before you take leave of us, Mr. Kapi, what is WAEC's final message to these students preparing for that social studies paper on Monday?
Well, our advice to the candidates is simply that they should try and do independent work as much as possible. They should desist from attempts to send in mobile phones. They should also avoid subscribing to these rogue websites that are posting questions that are not real. They should also avoid soliciting support from people, whether they are invigilators or whether they are people who are simply passers-by. The candidates should just go in there and do whatever they can and leave the rest to WAEC. As far as our invigilators and supervisors are concerned, we have had them sign another undertaking to ensure that they adhere to the rules of the examination. Our prayer is that each of them would adhere to the terms of that agreement that was signed, just so that we'll have sanity prevail across all our examination centers.
All right, I'm grateful to you, Mr. Kapi. John Kapi is the Public Relations Officer for the West African Examinations Council.